Tesla might be known for their overall aggressiveness, but they never cease to surprise people still. It all comes down to their recent ambition to make the Model Y the best-selling car in 2023. That's a lofty goal when you consider the fact that Toyota currently holds that title with the Toyota Corolla. They sell 1.5 million units of those vehicles. So how does Tesla plan to dominate a space already occupied by one of the most successful legacy companies in the world? Gigafactory Berlin is Tesla's first manufacturing location in Europe, and Tesla's most advanced, sustainable, and efficient facility yet. Slated for completion this year, it will manufacture hundreds of thousands of Model Y vehicles and millions of battery cells. It all comes down to how they intend to ramp up the production of the Model Y to achieve that goal in 2023. Consider this. When the Model Y was first released, it accounted for only about a third of all of their production. However, there's been quarterly growth from the company that many can say is unprecedented. Within the last 12 months, and with the help of Giga Shanghai, the Model Y has sold 300,000 units. Impressive as that might be, it's still a far cry from the 1.5 million units that Tesla will require as a bare minimum in order to remove Toyota from its coveted spot. Now this is where Giga Berlin steps in. First, I want to clear up an error from before. Tesla is not pushing for a 1.5 million unit mark. No. They're positioning themselves to sell a staggering and nearly unbelievable 5 million units by 2023. These figures don't even sound realistic, and yet it's not out of Tesla's reach. Giga Berlin might have opened up to many festivities, pomp, and hype, but that hype is not baseless. Elon Musk didn't build another factory in Germany just for the sake of global expansion. The factory was built specifically to ramp up the volume of production across the board. At the moment, Tesla claims that Giga Berlin will produce a car every 45 seconds. Now, even though that might not sound like the speed of bullets coming out of a machine gun, it's still incredibly fast. When you stack up the numbers, that's almost 800,000 vehicles per year from that factory alone, assuming that there's no rest period for the machines. Now, the Model Y production line is set to begin production this quarter, Q4 2021, and deliveries by the next quarter, Q1 2022. At the moment, Tesla has stacked a majority of its attention on both Giga Texas and Giga Berlin. Now there's the peculiarity of the Model Ys that Giga Berlin is introducing into the European market and how it differs from the model that most of America is familiar with. Tesla has even gone as far as putting a sign on the vehicles that they've actually been testing to denote that the vehicles are not the regular Model Y. So what is the difference, and how is Giga Berlin optimizing this vehicle to fit the European market? For that, we need to begin with the technological features being offered. Before we continue, it's also important to understand that Tesla is also using Giga Berlin as a testing ground, and many of the features it will be introducing to this European Model Y will eventually become a staple of other factories as time goes by. Let's begin with their paint shop. Currently, Tesla's paint shop has undergone some changes that have improved issues it had during the infamous Fremont production issue. A lot can be said about why there was a problem, however, that's in the past. What we know now is that there will be an array of new colors available for users with an eccentric taste. The standard color of Tesla is white, and often more varied colors often come at an added cost, but bright-colored cars will attract the needed attention and can eventually translate into demand and sales. A demand that we've already noted Giga Berlin is perfectly capable of meeting. On another end is Giga Berlin's production of the legendary 4680 battery cells. I say legendary because we all know how expectant everyone is for the cells. Giga Berlin will be the first gigafactory to take responsibility for that production, and in line with Tesla's ambitions, a proposed 1 million battery cells are expected to be produced daily. And as the volume of their auto production increases, so will the batteries themselves. In the meantime, it appears that as Giga Berlin picks itself up, Giga Shanghai will be there to support the components and parts, at least until Giga Berlin can produce its own 4680 batteries to match production. In the meantime, the 2170 battery cells will still see much use. In the beginning, the Giga Berlin Model Y will use a structural battery pack with the 4680 cells. The use of structural battery packs will imply a 14% range increase, a considerable reduction of up to 7% in cost per kilowatt hour, and another reduction in cost per gigawatt hour. There's also the push for reduced components, which Tesla has been championing ever since their car was pulled apart by Sandy Munro and inefficiencies were pointed out. Particularly, the introduction of the structural battery pack will impact the design greatly. In previous iterations, Tesla placed batteries beneath the floor of the vehicles. Now the floor of the vehicles is the battery pack, and the car seats are mounted directly on top of them. This means a reduction in cost, a reduction in the machinery required to make the Model Ys, which also translates into increased speed, and ultimately this will allow Tesla to do what it has always wanted to do with its Tesla, an EV that can compete with Corollas in terms of affordability. This is something they'll be able to do when they reach considerably higher volumes of production. Giga Berlin is about to stand shoulders high amongst other gigafactories in the world. Another noteworthy feature of the Giga Berlin is its gigapresses. We earlier noted that Giga Berlin was stated to have a production capacity of 500,000 vehicles. However, when you take into consideration that 8 gigapresses are the goal of completion for Berlin, then it seems that Tesla might just be taking a conservative stance as regards to their projected output. Each gigapress has a cycle time of 80 to 90 seconds, which allows it an output rate of 40 to 45 castings per hour, which means there will be about 1,000 castings per day for each gigapress. Let's assume only 3 of those gigapresses are devoted to the Model Y, and let's factor in a generous 20% downtime for each gigapress. The Tesla factory will still be on track to produce way more than the 500,000 vehicles they've earlier stated. Does Tesla know this? Of course they do. Why else do you think they'd make a claim as ambitious as dethroning the generic Toyota Corolla? In actuality, Giga Berlin's Phase 1 deliveries might see well beyond 1 million vehicles. In fact, rumor has it that the estimated output is actually 2 million vehicles per annum. At that kind of production rate, Tesla would be controlling 16% of the EV market share in Europe alone. I know we've been speaking extensively about the Model Y, but don't make the mistake of thinking the Model Y will be the only one in their production chain. The Model 3 is also going to have its run, and there are rumors of an unannounced vehicle on the site as well. Currently, only 3 out of the 8 gigapresses have been installed in Giga Berlin. With those 3 gigapresses, 21,000 castings can be produced per week, which translates to 10,000 cars per week. Elon Musk has accurately predicted these numbers some years prior. The production, speed, and sheer volume capacity of Giga Berlin is already causing a ripple effect in Germany, and legacy companies like Volkswagen have been forced to respond. The CEO of Volkswagen, Herbert Diess, has caught the Tesla fever, and he recently called an emergency meeting with top execs in the company, highlighting how Tesla's factories were leagues ahead of Volkswagen's own. Now Volkswagen is set to build a new state-of-the-art car factory close to its headquarters in Wolfsburg, Germany, hoping to raise its game. Volkswagen has no plan to build a flagship electric sedan until 2026, and it's part of their Trinity project, which has still not been approved by their supervisory board. They're currently aiming to match the speed of the production of Tesla's Model 3. They plan to create a factory from scratch as opposed to modifying existing factories. When you consider the cost implication of trying to revamp their existing factories, then you'll understand this move. Already, workers fear that they might get laid off as Volkswagen struggles to catch up with the Tesla invasion, but VW has said nothing of the sort will happen. But will Tesla take up considerable market share from them in Germany? More than likely. Already we know that Tesla is faster, cheaper, and more productive than VW, and they've built their factories in such a way that there's room for optimization for the factories. At the moment, Tesla has experienced delays in production start date as they await approvals from regulatory bodies. The GigaFest, it seems, was not enough to impress the locals, and they have expressed serious objections to the behemoth that is the Giga Berlin Tesla factory. This is a complaint that the Regional Environmental Ministry has not been too shy to heed to. Environmental groups have also been at the forefront of the crusade against the Tesla factory, which seems to be a counterproductive argument when you consider that Tesla, its flagship EVs, and its renewable energy sources are everything their memorandum has required from manufacturing companies. At the rate things are moving, the required approval might not kick in until December. In spite of these delays, it will not delay the ramp-up that Tesla has been vying for. At the moment, work is still being conducted on the supply chain and its production processes. A company that expects a growth percentage of 200% in its first year or second is considered well within the achievable realm of ambition. But the moment they become as big as Tesla is, even 50% increments sound like a pipe dream. Everyone will tell them it's impossible. It's never been done by any manufacturing company in the world before. However, do you want to be the one who bets against Elon Musk's Tesla? Even the famous Michael Burry of the housing market crash, who famously short Tesla to the tune of $530 million, took back his stance and is no longer shorting the company. Whether anyone likes it or not, Tesla has an expected growth of 50% over the years, a growth that will be experienced both in volume and in revenue. As unbelievable as this might sound, Tesla already has a track record of achieving the impossible. Thanks for watching. Until next time,